Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue talking about Space Marine chapters as we get into the Sons of Medusa. Now, if you guys have any requests, please comment down below. Don't forget to put suggestion followed by whatever your request may be. With that said, let's get into 40 Facts About the Sons of Medusa. The Sons of Medusa is a loyalist successor chapter of the Space Marines, drawn from the unforgiving Iron Hands chapter. It is a chapter with a history of ruthless efficiency and the merciless persecution of the Imperium of man's foes. Like their forebearers, they are extreme devotees of the Emperor of mankind, and look with disgust upon those who lack their strength of will. The Sons of Medusa were originally depicted in a dark green color scheme. In their contemporary color scheme, they are depicted with emerald green power armor, white helmets, and black trim. The Sons of Medusa's chapter badge was originally a Medusa's head, but was later stylized into a white skull with a black, 8-pointed iron halo surrounding it. The Desert World support squad of the Sons of Medusa use a yellow-brown armor color scheme with vertical black tiger stripes and are deployed with heavy weapons as a Devastator squad. The Sons of Medusa are a highly respected Space Marine chapter with a long history of defending the Imperium from its foes. It has participated in a host of Imperial crusades and has been responsible for the triumphant defense of mankind's worlds from heretics and aliens. However, the glories of the chapter's history mask a darker past for the Sons of Medusa, a secret and turbulent history of heresy and discord. The origins of the chapter lie in the turbulent times of the Nova Terra interregnum, which took place during the early 35th millennium. This was a period in human history of division and civil war, in which the Imperium became fractured in a number of different warring factions. The Adeptus Mechanicus was also affected during the interregnum by divisions and internal warfare brought about by doctrinal differences and competing centers of power. One of the most discordant of these conflicts was the Moray Schism, a dogmatic battle between the Martian orthodoxy of the standard cult Mechanicus and a far more radical creed based upon the prophetic writings of the triad of tech mystics from the minor forge world of Moray. The Moray Schism was one of the most decisive and widespread doctrinal conflicts to afflict the Adeptus Mechanicus since the Horus Heresy. These heretical writings spread like wildfire through the domains of the Mechanicus, even after Moray was reduced to a cinder by the Fabricator General of Mars. The Moray Tech Creed was based on the prophetic wave calculation of the triad of tech mystics, who believed that they had discerned a series of predictive patterns within the micro-fluctuation of the Astronomicon's psychic beacon. They believed that these geometric patterns contained the word of the Omnissiah and God Emperor, from which the ski of future history and humanity's destinies could be read. These radical teachings included vile references to the future overthrow of the priesthood of Mars and the fusion of the cult Mechanicus and the ecclesiarchy into a unified ecclesiarchal hierarchy. Such claims were predictably treated as dark seditions by the Mechanicus authorities on Mars, and civil war was quickly sparked between the orthodox and radical elements of the Mechanicus. The disruptive creed of Moray quickly gained influence. Within the Mechanicus priesthood, a number of Tech Guard regiments and even some Titan legions caused untold harm before being transmitted further afield to Space Marine chapters with close ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus, and in this, the Iron Hands were no exception. Championed by the infamous Omnissian mystics, the Iron Father Setol Solex, a significant percentage of those within the chapter quickly embraced the Moray doctrines. As discord soon followed, the Iron Hands were faced with the prospect of a full civil war within their chapter. This was only averted by the wise counsel of the Iron Hands' Great Clan Council's intervention to propose a settlement. Though deemed straightforward and harsh, their solution to avoid mass bloodshed within the ranks was a simple one: exile from the Iron Hands' homeworld of Medusa for the minority who had embraced the dissident doctrines, and a binding treaty never to raise their hands against their former brothers, enacted by both sides. It is believed that fully a third of the Iron Hand brethren then departed, eventually joined in time by a handful of Space Marines from other Iron Hand successor chapters who shared their common beliefs in the Moray doctrines, although evidence exists that some, such as the Red Talons, mercilessly destroyed their errant brothers over this matter, rather than suffer the dissident to live. These exiles still saw themselves as wholly a part of the Imperium of Man, and still full members of the Iron Hands. Therefore, they still sought to perform the God Emperor's given duty, and destroy the enemies of the Imperium. Operating as though still a part of their mother chapter, the Iron Hands exiles continued to increase their numbers and strengths, condemning their gene seed to higher imperial authorities among the Adeptus Mechanicus and conducting their duties. They continued to use the iconography and signature equipment of the Iron Hands, from which they had been outcast, with some minor variations, having further divided themselves into 3 new clan companies to support their steady increase in numbers. In the early years of the 37th millennium, matters continued in this vein until the dawning of the Age of Redemption. During this period of the Age of the Imperium, the newly resurgent High Lords of Terra reassembled the disparted strands of anarchy that had ravaged the Emperor's realm, and purged what could not be saved. The Moray exiles of the Iron Hands, now a separate chapter in all but name, were weighed and judged, their records examined in minute detail, as was their gene seed for unworthiness, chaotic taint, or mutational deviance. The exiles were found to be loyal and untainted. As a result, by a special edict of the High Lords of Terra, the Sons of Medusa were reorganized and ratified as a chapter of the Adeptus Astartes within the Emperor's grace. Despite protests within the Adeptus Mechanicus and the grave misgiving held by numerous other Space Marine chapters at this violation of the standard practice for founding a new chapter of the Adeptus Astartes. Over the following centuries, the Sons of Medusa have earned a reputation for standing against the Emperor's foe, no matter how desperate the odds, winning for themselves a grudging respect, if not trust, of their other fellow Space Marines. Yet their reputation has been long marred by those who call the Sons of Medusa battlefield scavengers and carrion crows. During their lean years in exile, the chapter developed the habit of seeking out and appropriating weapons and technology from the fallen. It is said of the chapter by their detractor that the desire to take war gear from the dead remains an underlining motive of all their actions, and a principal reason they have never shunned combat against those Space Marine chapters who have turned renegade or become subject to censure by the High Lords of Terra. Although the Sons of Medusa were ultimately founded as a result of the Moray Schism, it is unknown just how many of the Moray tech mystic teachings they still cling on to for more than the 5 millennia later. What is certain is that many factions of the Adeptus Mechanicus still view them with suspicion, and their forebearers, the Iron Hands, treat them with cold civility at best. In their character, the Sons of Medusa owe much to their forebearers, being utterly intolerant of physical or mental weakness in others, and least of all in themselves. This obsession manifests most notably in a distinct preference for high levels of cybernetic replacements amongst their battle brothers. Those who have fought alongside the chapter remark that they possess a frigid manner and seemingly emotionless response, taking little pleasure in success. Unlike many other Astartes, the Sons of Medusa do not crave glory or expect to prove their worthiness to their chapter. Failure to the Sons of Medusa is intolerable, and slights against the chapter's honor, perceived or real, are met with deadly force, while defeats are viewed as things to be recited and avenged. To an Astarte of the Sons of Medusa, doing otherwise would be a show of weakness, and weakness is death. In temperament, the battle brothers of the Sons of Medusa display the same demeanor as the Iron Hands. They abhor the weakness of flesh, and while they encase their bodies in cold steel, they are blessed of a hatred of the Emperor's foe, far hotter than any furnace. Given their crusading roots during and immediately following the Nova Terra interregnum, it is not surprising that the Sons of Medusa display an even keener urge to prosecute the Emperor's foe than their sires. Like their forebearers amongst the Iron Hands, the Sons of Medusa have a particular hatred for weakness in any form. This has had a marked effect on their combat doctrine. like their former Iron Hand brethren. This hatred is extended to the physical body, seeing weakness even in themselves, despite their obviously superior augmented superhuman physiques. It is not unknown for an Astartes of this chapter to further enhance himself through biochemical and cybernetic means, including the replacement of otherwise healthy limbs and organic body parts with bionic. The sons of Medusa are ferocious in battle, always advancing forward in a relentless automaton-like manner, no matter how desperate the odds, throwing themselves violently at the enemy as they are overcome by a bitter, righteous anger at those who would defy the will of the Emperor and the Omnissiah. And those were 40 facts about the Sons of Medusa. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to catch these guys in battle, check out our 40 facts on the Bad App War. They were part of the Bad App War. And if you guys want to read a little bit more, jump on over to the wiki page. More information on there. Now, there is going to be a part 2 where we go over more of the like combat doctrines and special units within the Sons of Medusa. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and the winner of the Plague Marine giveaway, or the Spellcrow Plague Marine quote-unquote giveaway, will be announced tomorrow. Again, guys, thank you so much for liking, commenting, and sharing, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.